Deadly Control is a 2024 drama film now streaming on Tubi. It's written and directed by Mya Speller, also the director and writer of Parasite, who you may remember I did a review on that film, which also starred Kai Lynn. This film does star her as well as Sanaya. Also starring in Deadly Control is Elijah Lamar as German and Michael James as Nigel. This tells the story about Sanaya's character, who is a nurse and works in a community outreach program helping others get through certain difficult times. I won't go into what those are. You just have to see the film to find out. And all the while she is married, she has her trials and tribulations at home with her husband, German, who is very controlling, very abusive. And it's like, it's really cringeworthy seeing a film like this done, especially on the topic of domestic abuse, because films like this really aren't talked about, really aren't prominent enough. But you see German just controlling Sanaya left and right, wanting her to put on some fun lingerie, taking advantage of her, bending her over, doing this, doing that. It's like, for someone like me to watch this, it's like, well, you know stuff is happening like that behind closed doors in other people's homes, but really no one talks about it. Not only that, Sanaya has a friend at work named Paula, played by Natasha Eli Pearson, who is a really, really close friend, and she just, really confides in her. And the whole thing about this is that you see Sanaya very afraid, very, standoffish, and work is an escape for her because she likes to help people, and that's what is really, really shown. And how Mya Speller really, really writes this in the character of Sanaya is very different than how she wrote the character of Tessa in Parasite. Those two comparisons are here nor there for a film like this. But from what it is, it's like, okay, Kai Lynn can play so many roles in a film. It's like, oh, when you see her in Parasite and you see her in this, totaled, toned down, it's like, wow, this is how she is and how she really acts, and it's just different. And when you see the whole 360 happen, it's really, really fun. Now, as Sanaya is at work, she befriends and starts going out with a community outreach program person who comes in, played by Michael James, named Nigel, who's very sweet, very loving, has that dapper Don look about him, and, the women just love him, and Sanaya starts, taking a court to him, falling in love with him, going to a museum with him, and confiding in him about certain things. And Paula, her friend, really pushes for Sanaya to, go out with Nigel and have fun and do things, and, trying to make sure German doesn't really find out. But slowly he starts putting the puzzle pieces together, and German does find out what Sanaya is doing, what she's capable of, and, how certain factors, go in. And then Sanaya and Nigel do have an intimate moment in this movie where they kind of, love each other, and it just transpires from there. You see the progression of the craziness that happens in domestic abuse relationships, especially with German, very controlling, very crazy looking, the look in his eyes, and Sanaya just has to stay there and take it. She doesn't want to, but she knows that she gets to be treated better with Nigel by her side. There is a great, great scene in this film that I really love, which is really different. Didn't expect it, but it's when Nigel and Sanaya are speaking, and all of a sudden German comes in. From German's perspective, he is in a red hue light behind him, and Nigel is in white. So it's like the devil and angel on your shoulders, and you're trying to pick who and what. You're trying to figure out who should you go with, who should you not go with. And seeing Sanaya or Kai Lynn play this role in that scene was really good. Loving, very comfortable with Nigel. And she goes to German, it's like very tense, very wicked. He's choking her, doesn't know what to do. So it's like, oh, okay, the progression is really good. When a director or writer, or both for that matter, with Mya Speller, puts that in a film like this, it's like, oh, okay, you know what's happening, you know what's going on. If you didn't get that devil or angel shoulder aspect of trying to pick both sides, what's going on, then you really don't know filmmaking. You don't really know what's going to happen. Now, what did shock me in this film was the aspect of the ending. I did not expect the ending. There are two things that I did not expect at all in this ending, which really left me surprised. And it's like, whoa, okay, total 360, total left turn. And it's like, really, you wanted to root for a character and this is what happened? it's really, really heartbreaking, really shocking, and it's like the aspect of domestic abuse and violence really, really shows and shines in this, and they really touch on it where you shouldn't be afraid to talk about it. You really have to talk about it to save your life, and it just goes into the aspect of, okay, if someone said something earlier, maybe this could have been avoided. You know, it's the whole aspect of you thinking if you're in that kind of predicament, what would you do? What can you do? And, you know, for how Sanaya was in the relationship with Nigel, she felt safe, very happy, very content. She goes home to German, her husband. It's like, okay, she's in a rut, she's miserable, she doesn't know what to do. And I do love another scene where I have to say, where Sanaya and Nigel share that intimate moment together, and she takes off her wedding ring in front of him, puts it down, takes off her shirt, and puts the shirt on top of the wedding ring. I was like, wow, that's really, really symbolic. I mean, just the symbolism behind everything in this was really good. It was fun. The ending really, really got me and surprised me. And I mean, I can't stress enough how I was really, really surprised by Deadly Control. For a independent film to touch on a subject like this, like I stated, was really good and really, really underrated. I can't wait to see what writer-director Mya Speller has in store next, especially working with Kai Lynn. I mean, working with her for 2 films, Parasite and now Deadly Control. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. You can catch Deadly Control now streaming on Tubi. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Deadly Control. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the aspect of the topic, the mannerisms of it was done? Do you think some things could have been avoided? Do you think they really touched on the aspect of the domestic violence, abuse and relationships? Would you have changed something? Do you like how it was done? And have you heard about this movie? And will you be checking it out now that I reviewed it? For me, Deadly Control gets 4.5 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked. I'm Mr. Filmstock. Thanks so much for tuning into my review, and I'll see you all in the next review video.